Welcome back, my dear students, grade 3. Continue our science lessons. We will continue with lesson 4 of chapter 6, which talk about how can you stay safe in severe weather. In today's lesson, we will take in detail more about the severe weather. We talked in the previous lessons about weather and climate and how we can measure the weather. So the severe weather here refers to natural disasters like thunder, lightning, and tornadoes, hurricanes. So we can call them natural events or natural disasters. So more about our lesson when we go deep inside. Let's start with severe weather definition. What does it mean? Severe weather means a dangerous weather, not only bad weather, but it will be dangerous if you go outside of your home. So there are many kinds of severe weather, like thunderstorms, like tornadoes, hurricanes, blizzards, and we will also know together how can you stay safe in this severe weather. Let's get started with thunderstorms. Thunderstorm is one kind of severe weather. You have to know here that thunderstorm is one kind of severe weather. It's described as heavy rain with thunder and lightning. Sometimes thunderstorms have hail and strong winds too. So the thunderstorm here in brief contains 3 points. Number one is you have to know that thunderstorm is one kind of severe weather, and it have heavy rain with thunder and lightning. It also have hail and strong winds. Blizzards is a second type of natural events, which we can define as a storm with heavy snow and strong winds. So the difference between thunderstorm and the blizzard is that blizzard have snow, heavy snow, unlike thunderstorm that have heavy rain. How you can stay safe in thunderstorm? Number one, find shelter in a sturdy building. Shelter here means somewhere to go away from this thunderstorm. Point number two, you can keep away from windows, water, and trees. Keep away from metal objects because the thunder can produce some electric charge that harms you when you touch the metal objects. Keep away from things that cause electricity, like I said, because thunder is about some electric charge. When they touch any metal or any source of electricity, they will harm you.
Off on the horizon, they rumble. Rolling across the land, they darken the skies to then spark fire in the darkness, letting out an unmistakable roar. Thunderstorms are rain showers accompanied by lightning and thunder. While violent, these weather phenomena are common, with about 2,000 occurring at any moment worldwide. There are 4 major types of thunderstorms: single cell, which are small, weak, and isolated storms; multi-cell, a common type of storm that includes a cluster of thunderstorms; squall line, a collection of storms that can form a line hundreds of miles long; and supercells, the most intense kind of storm capable of producing tornadoes. All thunderstorms form when warm air in the lowest layers of the atmosphere rises. Called an updraft, this air causes water from the Earth's surface to evaporate and carries the moisture upward to form clouds. The clouds then build and grow, sometimes as tall as 10 miles high. The clouds darken as they fill and become heavy with water. Cool, dry air from the upper layers of the atmosphere, known as a downdraft, then pull this moisture downward, causing it to fall as life-sustaining rain. In addition to helping sustain life, thunderstorms also help maintain the planet's balance of energy and electricity. When energy, specifically in the form of heat, causes water to evaporate, the heat is carried upward with the water vapor. As the vapor condenses and forms water droplets, it releases the heat into the higher altitudes of the atmosphere and cools the Earth's surface. Thunderstorms also help regulate the electrical balance between the atmosphere and the planet. As clouds in a thunderstorm develop, excess positive and negative charges form within them. At a certain point, this buildup of opposite charges leads to the transfer of electrons in the form of lightning. This transference of electricity occurs so quickly that it breaks the sound barrier, a phenomenon that produces thunder. While thunderstorms are necessary for maintaining balance in the atmosphere, they can also be hazardous. Lightning strikes create fires. Excessive rainfall can cause flash flooding, and high-speed winds from tornadoes can destroy homes. Meteorologists study weather systems to try to predict the occurrence of thunderstorms and help ensure the safety of countless communities.
Okay, my dear students, I will not add more about thunderstorm because the video was sufficient enough for you to know more about the thunderstorm. So turning to another point of our today's lesson, which is talk about tornadoes. Tornadoes is a small wind but very strong. So small wind and very strong at the same time comes down from thunderstorm clouds. So the thunderstorm clouds led to a small wind and very strong, which we can call it tornado. Tornadoes can happen during thunderstorm, form very quickly, destroy things in its path. It is hard to predict when tornado will happen. So it's difficult. It's very difficult for the scientists to predict when the tornado will take place. Turning to video.
Tornadoes.
To show you more about
Big,
tornadoes.
funnel-shaped clouds that can rip through a community and leave a wake of destruction. They can form in seconds, change direction in a heartbeat, and their devastation can last a lifetime. Exactly how and why tornadoes occur is still a bit of a mystery, but an indication that one is forming is a wall cloud. Fast-moving winds roll air below into a horizontal vortex above opposing surface winds, similar to a spinning tube. Warmed by the sun, buoyant air near the ground begins to lift a section of the horizontal vortex into a vertical position. The vortex extends toward the ground. As it picks up speed, anything in its path can be ripped apart or thrown in the air. Upper-level winds tilt the rotating updraft called a mesocyclone. This allows the storm to keep growing as warm air is sucked into the storm away from the cool downdraft. The vortex spins like a top, sometimes up to 300 miles per hour. And while some tornadoes move slowly, others can travel over the ground at speeds of over 110 miles per hour. The widest tornado ever recorded, the May 2013 El Reno tornado in Oklahoma, was 2.6 miles across. That's wider across than Manhattan. Research has allowed us to identify the essential ingredients needed for twisters to form in the U.S. Warm, moist air, typically from the Gulf of Mexico, cool air, typically from Canada, and dry air, typically from the Rockies. When these air masses collide, they create the perfect conditions for a tornado. Nearly 3/4 of the world's tornadoes occur in the United States, and the peak season is between May and June. A majority touch down in Tornado Alley, a section of the central United States, but tornadoes have been recorded in all 50 states and on every continent except Antarctica. Tornadoes are very dangerous, and you should never underestimate their power. The average time between a tornado warning and a strike is estimated at a mere 13 minutes, giving residents little time to seek shelter. On average, tornadoes kill 60 people every year in the United States. The deadliest tornado in history was not in the United States, but a tornado that ripped through Bangladesh in 1989, killing an estimated 1,300 people. We measure the amount of damage to land and property using the EF scale, which ranks tornadoes on 6 different levels. From 0, a heavy breeze that can uproot crops, to level 5, enough wind to pick up a house. It's the desire to better understand them that sends scientists into the field year after year in search of answers that can hopefully save lives while putting theirs at risk.
Like you watched the video was sufficient and have contained more information about tornadoes. I hope you enjoy watching. Turning to the safety or how to be safe away from the tornado. You must go to the basement or an inside room. You must crouch under the stairs or near an inner wall. You have to stay away from windows. You must cover your head to be safe away from the tornado. Turning to the last part here in our today's lesson, which talk about hurricanes. Hurricane is the largest storm that starts over warm ocean water. It has heavy rains and strong winds. So you must differentiate, or to be able to differentiate between the 3 events, tornadoes, hurricanes, and thunderstorms. There will be little difference between the 3 terminologies. We are about here hurricane. Hurricane is a strong storm. It have heavy rains and strong winds as well. The rains of the hurricane can cause floods. Can you imagine that? Yes, you do. And knock down trees and buildings as well, like the tornadoes. All the disaster harm the human beings, but it can take place to change the nature. How can we stay safe away from hurricane? We can move away from the ocean, bring loose objects inside. Loose here means released objects. We can also stay inside and away from windows. We can store extra food and water in our homes. I will now let you with explanatory video about hurricanes, and this will be the end of our today's lesson. I hope that you enjoyed the lesson and understand each part of our today's lesson. This lesson will be the end of the science lesson of this quarter, inshallah, and we will think about the next steps of our quarter, about homework and quizzes. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope Allah preserves you all and our nation. See you again. Bye bye.
Cyclone, typhoon, hurricane. All of these names are used around the world to describe the most powerful storm known to man. Hurricanes are unpredictable, but scientists have a thorough understanding of how hurricanes form and sustain their power. In the Atlantic Ocean, hurricane season peaks during the late summer months when tropical waters are the warmest. Hurricanes form from a cluster of thunderstorms that suck up the warm, moist air and move it high into Earth's atmosphere. The warm air is then converted into energy that powers the hurricane's circular winds. These winds spin around a low-pressure center called the eye, which can provide a 20 to 30-mile radius of eerie calm. Encircling it is the eye wall, a towering ring of clouds with some of the fastest wind speeds of the hurricane. Surrounding the eye wall are curved bands of clouds, the rain bands, often tens of miles wide, releasing sheets of rain and sometimes tornadoes. When a tropical storm's winds reach at least 74 miles per hour, it becomes a hurricane. The hurricane then receives a category ranking of 1 to 5 on the Saffir-Simpson scale, based on its wind speed and potential damage. But wind speed isn't always the most dangerous component when hurricanes come near land. It's storm surge. Storm surge is caused when winds from an approaching hurricane push water towards the shoreline up to 20 feet above sea level and can extend 100 miles. 90% of all hurricane deaths are the result of storm surge. While hurricanes can cause mass devastation, just like other natural disasters, they serve a higher purpose within the global ecosystem. Hurricanes help regulate our climate by moving heat energy from the equator to the poles, keeping the Earth's temperature stable. Over time, science has helped us to better understand hurricanes and predict their paths, saving lives through early warning systems and helping us build better infrastructure to protect our cities. The more we study these complex storms, the better we can prepare for them and minimize their impact on human lives.